Hey guys, I'm Kim Plays Pokemon and I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Kim Plays Pokemon every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time. Today, I'm going to be giving you 5 tips on dealing with streaming anxiety and what I do to cope with that, and there's going to be a bonus tip at the end, so make sure you watch all the way to the very end. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel because it means a lot and it means I can provide more content for you to enjoy. Today, we're going to be talking about anxiety and the things that we all get worked up about and stressed about and worried about when it comes to streaming and how we're going to deal with those. I'm going to be giving you my 5 best tips on how to deal with this. And remember, please stay to the end if you want to see my bonus tip. So I'm sure we all feel anxious and worried about things a lot of the time. I can sympathize with you because I have anxiety and I also have BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, but we'll probably go into that at another time. So I can definitely understand how you're feeling with like anxiety when it comes to streaming because I feel it too, you guys. Do you ever feel like worried or stressed about how you're going to come across on your stream? Do you worry about like how you look physically on stream? Do you worry like, oh my God, is the camera going to freeze on my ugly face or something? Is there going to be a technical issue? Is nobody going to be in chat? Is anyone going to even speak to me? These are the kind of things that we tend to worry about when you have anxiety when it comes to streaming. And I'm going to help you deal with these like 5 steps at a time. This is a totally normal thing. I feel it, you feel it, there's a lot of people out there that feel it. And I experience this on like a daily basis. Every time I go to stream, there's always some kind of nagging anxiety getting at me. And it's always sort of just the most annoying little thing. It's a huge part of why I didn't start streaming earlier as well when I came back from my break, because I just used to sit and watch like other people streaming and I'd be sat there thinking, how can I do that when I'm like so anxious? So let's get started with those 5 tips that help me get in the chair and click that start streaming button and just crack on with it. So in order to be prepared for starting streaming when you're a little bit anxious, it's a good idea to spend some time watching other streamers. I'm talking starting small as well. So watch some small streamers and kind of like see what it is that you enjoy about them and what you like about them. Don't just go in there and just copy their whole personality and try and bring that to your stream. Because if that's not who you are as a person, that's going to get super tiring really quick. People are going to notice as well. If you're coming across really fake and kind of hyper, if that's not the kind of person that you are, or if you're really quiet when really you're quite a loud person, that's going to come across eventually. And you're going to burn yourself out because like so much effort trying to put on an act. Whereas if you just take the smaller things that they do into your own stream, that's going to help you more because you'll be able to see how they deal with things like awkward silences, awkward people in chat, no chat, and how they deal with like small numbers of viewers, and then take what they do and put that in your own stream and how you're going to come across on your own channel. Remember to keep it small as well when you're checking out other streamers, because if you go and watch, for example, Ninja, you're never going to be able to pick up tips on like how to deal with anxiety through watching Ninja because he is massive. And he's got so many viewers, so his chat's never going to be dead. Like, he's never going to be streaming to 0 people or 1 person. So you want to look for streamers that are quite small, that have got a small amount of viewers and how they're dealing with it. Because then with your anxiety, you're going to be able to see what they do and kind of put it into work when you go out there to start streaming yourself. And by talking in the chat as well of the smaller streamers, you might be able to network and make some friends. And then they can come and help you out when you're streaming and put a little bit of your anxiety at ease by giving you someone to speak to, giving you some moral support. So if you feel up to it, try and engage in another streamer's chat with the followers, and hopefully that'll help you out. But don't worry if you're not ready to start talking to them just yet. That's fine. We can do that later. You also want to make an account on Twitch so that you can familiarize yourself with the actual like functioning of Twitch, the technical side of things, and that includes like OBS or Streamlabs OBS. You want to know the software because then by familiarizing yourself with what you're actually going to be using to provide a stream, you're going to be less anxious and less frightened about something going wrong if you actually know how to fix it. So spend some time going around on Twitch, on OBS, Streamlabs, whatever, and just figure out what certain buttons do and like how you could fix something. So like if your camera stopped feeding to OBS, how are you going to fix that in like a quick amount of time? Because I found that I was always quite anxious about, oh my God, what if my camera freezes? What if it clicks off or it just stops working? So I spent a lot of time kind of getting to know Twitch. so that I could make sure that if it did go wrong, I kind of knew what I was doing if I needed to fix it. The more prepared you are, the better you're going to feel when it actually comes to going on your stream. You're going to be more equipped to deal with any like technical issues, any issues in chat, anything like that that you need to fix. You'll be more comfortable with. And these are the things that might throw you off and kind of get your anxiety racing a little bit. So I seriously advise figuring out whether you're going to be using OBS or Streamlabs and just figure out how you're going to lay all your things out and how you're going to have everything placed so that you can have that ready as well when you're ready to go on stream. Tip 2, don't sweat the small stuff. If you're anything like me, you're probably going to be like your biggest critic. To be honest, I think you'll find that most people don't actually notice the things that you're obsessing about, that you're worrying about, all those little things that make your head kind of go, wah! People don't tend to notice those as much as you actually sit there telling yourself that they're going to do. And believe me, I am that obsessive person that has asked people in chat, I've asked my friends after a stream, and you'll be surprised to find out that not many people notice those little things you were worrying about. Don't take yourself too seriously either, guys. Everyone's a human and everyone makes mistakes. I mean, this one time I was watching the Weather Channel and I once saw a weather reporter absolutely make like the world's biggest blunder live on TV, and she simply just stopped and asked if she could start again. And she did, and it was fine. So, you know, mistakes happen. You just got to be able to laugh at yourself and shrug it off and just think, meh, it happened, move on, next. At the end of the day, if you make a mistake, you've just got to own it and laugh about it. Because at the end of the day, your chat is going to find it a lot better if you kind of just laugh and joke it off rather than getting like wound up, having a meltdown or getting really upset. If you make it into a joke, it can then kind of lead into like more of like a running thing. So for example, like I've always been really bad for getting tongue-tied. And it used to happen to me, like, well, it still happens to me all the time, repetitively. And every time it used to happen to me on stream, I used to be absolutely mortified to the point where I just wanted to tear up because to me that was absolutely humiliating and I couldn't deal with it. So in the end, I just started making a joke out of it because it happened that much. So just like overact it. So like if I stumble on my words, I just kind of go, blah, blah, blah. I just like make a joke about it. And eventually chat just kind of clicked with it. And now it's even got its own emote. And we just make fun of it all the time. So some of your biggest mistakes that you might think are absolutely traumatizing can actually be pretty funny if you can just sit down and kind of see the funny side of things, joke with chat about it and just go, oh my God, guys, I can't believe I just said that. Or I can't believe I just did that. Or I can't speak. So like, just have fun with it. Tip number 3 is practice makes perfect. This one is old but gold, but practice does really make perfect when it comes to getting your confidence in check ready for streaming. The more comfortable you are with something, the better it's going to come across, especially with streaming. So a good idea is to get comfortable with whatever you're going to be doing, be it the game that you're playing or actually just streaming in general. Getting comfortable and familiar with what you're going to be doing is key to actually coming across confident. You could be really anxious inside and just panicking like, oh my God. But like if you're actually coming across confident because you spent the time to get to know the game or the software, you're going to come across a lot better than if you're just sort of like, I'm worried. So you could prepare yourself for talking to randos in the chat by like going in the chats of other streamers, like I mentioned before, and getting to know people. Practice your kind of conversational skills with people in like another streamer's chat, because that way they're not watching you on camera, but you can kind of like play around with how you come across, how people respond to things, and you can get a good feel for how chat works. And that's going to help you feel more comfortable when you do start streaming and your own chat is talking to you. If you spoke to other like streamers, viewers, you're going to have a little bit more confidence when it comes to speaking to your own. If you're seriously worried about the actual streaming side of things, if that's what's really getting your anxiety stressed out, then I seriously advise making a separate Twitch account to the one that you're actually going to be streaming on. Because then this is not tied to you in any way. Give it a completely crazy name that's nothing to do with what your actual Twitch name or brand is going to be. And then you can practice streaming on there. Set it up so that like it's going to look exactly how your real stream would look on your actual Twitch. But instead of like streaming directly from the one that you kind of want to go running with, do it with one that's smaller. So no followers, no viewers is what we're aiming for. So start it afresh. And then play a really oversaturated game like Fortnite, because if you're a brand new streamer and you made your account like 5 minutes ago, odds are you're not going to get clicked on. So you go right to the bottom of the Fortnite page, and not many people are going to bother to go down to the bottom to look for like smaller streamers because the game is played massively. So you're a good chance then that you can just sit at the bottom of the page streaming to yourself. By streaming to yourself live, you're going to get an actual feeling of what it is like to actually be live streaming on Twitch. You're going to know what it actually feels like to press that start streaming button without having anybody waiting for you in the chat to see you as soon as you come out, basically. So you've got that freedom of making mistakes, of getting tongue-tied, or just kind of not speaking for a few seconds so you can actually look at the screen and see how things are going to look when it's actually live. And I think that's a great advantage if you're happy to do that, because it does allow you to have that freedom of nobody's watching me, so if I just cancel it now because I'm actually too scared to do it, or actually I don't like how this looks and I'm going to change some stuff, you've got that freedom to cancel it without viewers going, where'd you go? I did this a few times before I started streaming because I kind of just wanted to know how it felt to actually be live. So I did it from a separate account, and then it did give me kind of a few ideas on what I needed to tweak, what I needed to change. But it also gave me a little bit of relief because that's it. I'd already pressed that going live button once, so it wasn't such a big deal to do it again. But if you're not happy going live at all straight away, that's completely fine. I'd also recommend in OBS, you can do start recording rather than start streaming. So you could basically have all your layouts out, your overlays, how you're going to have your scene set up. You can have a little practice and just do it for yourself. But speak to the camera, speak to the chat if you want to, make your own chat up, and just kind of do it as if you were going live. Because that's going to give you an idea of how it feels again, but you haven't got that risk of someone actually clicking in and going, yo, what's up? Hiya. So that's going to give you a little bit more time to kind of let the anxiety die down. No one's actually watching. But then if you enjoy it and it's actually good, you've got a bonus then as well, because you could actually cut it up and use it for YouTube content too. Once you feel comfortable with this, you can then move on to actually doing it live on Twitch for real. But don't worry if nobody's watching you. If you can just try and make the game or whatever you're doing fun, narrate what you're doing. So kind of just if you're playing Pokemon, you could be, I'm just going to go and do this battle now. I'm using this move. I'm using this item. Just narrate things. Because if you actually get some content but nobody watched you, it's not the end of the world, because if you had fun and you actually made some content, you can cut that up again, like I said before, and just put it on YouTube. So if you do stream to nobody at all, it's not wasted. You can still do something with that VOD at the end of the stream. Tip 4, reaching out to friends and family. If your anxiety is running wild at the thought of streaming to nobody or having an empty chat, then it's a good idea to reach out to a close friend or family member to try and help you resolve this. This person can just give you some ideas or give you just a little bit of conversation, some topics, someone to bounce ideas off, someone to have a laugh with while you're streaming to put you a little bit more at ease, and then you're probably going to feel a little bit more relaxed, and then hopefully somebody else might come in the chat and it'll get kind of things moving a little bit more and you'll feel a bit more at ease about it. But even just having that one person to speak to can make a whole load of difference when it comes to streaming anxiety. I used to be really bad myself, panicking about just having radio silence on the other side when I was streaming. So I reached out to a few of my own friends and family and just let them know that that's what I was going to be doing. I was going to be streaming. Will you come and chat to me? And eventually they did start coming in and giving me someone to speak to. And it's really handy at first, because that was one of the first things that used to put me off streaming, was having nobody to speak to, because I'm quite a talkative person. So the idea of not having anyone to speak to just drove me insane. But by having just one person there in the chat, it just made a whole world of difference. So make sure you just reach out to them and if you just post them your Twitch account, your link, and let them know when you're going to be streaming and just ask them to drop by. Tip 5 is scheduling. As somebody who has anxiety and BPD, I find having a schedule and a routine really helps me out, because this allows me to have written proof of what I'm going to be doing, when I'm going to be doing it, and what game it is. And it kind of just gives me a bit of relief, because then I can see it in front of me of what I need to be doing, and I can plan the rest of my day around what I'm actually going to be doing on Twitch, and it just helps put some of that anxiety at bay. By having a routine and a schedule, it's going to prevent you from overwhelming yourself, which is really important if you have anxiety, because if you do overschedule yourself, you're going to get really frustrated, you're going to get stressed, you might even burn out and think, I'm not doing this anymore. So by having a routine and a schedule, you can allow yourself to move your time around what you need And you're actually going to then be more aware of, actually, I'm streaming at 8, so I'm not going to do this until like 6:30. Or I'm streaming at 8, so I need to make sure that my game is ready, that my camera's set up. And it just helps kind of take some of that anxiety off the whole kind of stress of, oh my God, I need to start streaming. And it's also going to prevent you from going wildly flailing into a stream that you haven't prepared for. And that's just a nightmare, because if you haven't prepared and you are an anxious person, you're just going to get yourself really worked up. Don't overschedule yourself, because it's really important that you keep yourself on track, that you're not getting stressed out, and just make sure that the schedule works for both you and your mental health, because it's really important that you actually see it as a two that come together, because otherwise you can just go racing in, like overdo it, like doing streams every 5 seconds, and you're just going to get yourself worn out, and then you're going to become more stressed and anxious, and this is going to affect your streaming. And if it's something that you really want to do, I recommend having that routine and having that schedule, but making sure that you kind of start off small if you think that you might get a little bit overwhelmed. And then you can gradually start adding to it. So put an hour here, an extra half an hour there, and you can gradually change it to suit you. But if you do get anxious and you do prefer to have a schedule, I totally recommend just kind of starting out small in the first place. By having a schedule, you can plan ahead and be well prepared for any stream that you have coming up. And it's going to be a great relief to kind of get rid of some of that pre-stream anxiety by just kind of having it written down what you're doing at what time. My bonus tip is to just go ahead and do it. If you've been thinking about it, then just go ahead. Start streaming. No matter what gear or equipment you have, just give it a go. Because if you hold off from doing it, you're going to become more anxious and more worse over time, the more you kind of keep putting it off. And believe me, because I did it myself, I've been on like a break for 4 years now. I've only just come back after that 4-year break. And I did that because of mental health and anxiety reasons. So seriously, guys, if you're really thinking about doing it and you're a little bit on the fence, just give it a go. Use some of the tips and just have a go. Another great thing is that it's not a huge commitment. If you do it and you decide you don't like it, that's it. You don't like it. It's not like starting a new job and accepting it and signing a contract and stuff, where if you decide after day 1 that you don't like it, you've then got like the awkward thing of having to ring someone or text someone or speak to someone and say, hey, I don't like this, I'm not coming back. With streaming, it's so easy. If you finish a stream and you think, actually, this is not for me, I don't like it, you can just pull the plug whenever, and it's completely in your hands. So it's completely up to you how you feel about it. And you can just go, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Or hopefully you'll enjoy it and you'll be like, yeah, I'm going to do more of that. So please go out there and give it a go, because if it's not for you and you really don't like it, you can always try something else like YouTube, because YouTube's great for pre-recorded content. And I think that's a really nice thing, because you can edit it, you can change it, you can cut bits out. So if there's bits that you feel uncomfortable about, you can remove those. You're more in control about what's actually going into your video on YouTube, and you can remove the parts that you just don't like or things that make you anxious. So please, if you just go out there and have a go and you hate streaming, give YouTube a try. It's a great platform, and the community is just as nice here as well. But whatever you decide to do, just please try and have some fun with it. Let your hair down and just try and have a good time with it, because it's so empowering when you actually get on top of your anxiety and have a good time with either YouTube or Twitch. It feels great. But again, if you do it and you don't like it, that's fine. It's not for everybody. It's not everybody's cup of tea. You don't have to feel bad about that. So just have fun. I hope this is helpful for you guys, because I know that streaming can be really overwhelming at first. And by using these 5 tips, I used them myself to rein in my own anxiety when it came to streaming. And eventually I was able to get in this chair and put some content out on Twitch. Don't forget to comment below which tip you think is going to work best for you. Or if you tried one, which one was it? If there's anything on here that I haven't mentioned that you feel worried or anxious or stressed about, and you still want to talk about it because I haven't covered it on here, please reach out to me on my Instagram, which is @KimPlaysPokemon, and then just drop me a private message on there about whatever it is that you're worried about, what you're anxious about, and I'll try and give you some support on there, because there are many other things that I do and that I have to do in order to be relaxed on stream. So I might have missed something off that I don't consider like a key, but it might be key to you. So please reach out to me if there's anything else you'd like help with. Okay guys, take care out there, and most importantly, have fun, and I'll catch you at a stream sometime, hopefully. See you later!